discretion is advised.
Hey everyone, this video is brought to you by Audible. Audible is offering you a free audiobook with a 30-day free trial membership. All you need to do is go to audibletrial.com/BGUnlocked. The link is in the description below, and now enjoy the video. Hey everyone, welcome to the discussion for Wingspan and the European expansion solo variant. If you want to actually see what we think of Wingspan in a multiplayer setting, definitely go check out the discussion for that and the run-through. And if you want to know what we thought of the expansion, then definitely go check out our no run-through review for the expansion. Here I will only be talking about my thoughts on the Automa version of Wingspan. And I'll probably end up throwing in my thoughts on Wingspan anyway. But let's go ahead and get started with what I think on the solo variant, which I think it's a pretty solid solo variant. I really enjoyed myself. Now, Wingspan is one of those games that is very simple kind of game, but still has quite, a bit of depth to it anyway. And I think that the Automa version still gives you that feel of Wingspan. Now, a lot of solo variants out there are... They kind of take away something from the game, and some of the ones that I've played are just so, just uneventful to play against, or demoralizing whenever they just get so much stuff for free, and you're just constantly, working your ass off trying to even keep up with something that it's not really fair that another, that a bot can do. And here you do not get that feeling at all. Now, the Automa does get free stuff. It gets cards for free, and it gets eggs for free. But you also get cards and eggs for free. You just have to do an action, same as the Automa. The Automa has a deck of cards that it goes through that is just like, oh, okay, this round it's getting 3 eggs. Okay, next round it's getting, a card. And depending on its end of round goal cards, like... in this one, it was birds that are worth 3 or 4 points, and I got lucky because there was only ever really one or the other out, but it could have kept 2 of them. So if there were 2 4-pointers, could have taken both and put them up. But you have that ability as well, so that's a fantastic thing. What I love about this solo variant is that everything that you can do, or everything that the Automa can do, you can also do. So if you want to take cards, there's no special action for you to do that. You can just take them. The Automa does the same thing, except it kind of has a choice. It has what's kind of going for, similar to the player. You have bonus cards that you're going to get to, that you're trying to capitalize on. And so you're going to be trying to get bird cards that, oh, hey, in any one habitat. So it's like, well, I don't have a pink one in there. Okay, I'll try and get a pink card. Automa's doing the same thing, 3 to 4 points in this case. So I think that's fantastic. Never once did I sit here going, really, really more eggs, because, hey, I'll just take one of my cubes, and I'm going to get three eggs, and I'll place them on whatever bird that I want to. It just keeps a stockpile. And hell, even in the rules, it talks about, hey, you're going to notice that the Automa gets, a lot of eggs, but don't worry, because you basically can make up for that by your bonus cards. So if you look at the new sheet, which... the Wingspan expansion, the European expansion actually brings in these new scoring cards where one side's the multiplayer and then the other side's the Automa, which I think is actually really, really good. I like it a lot. You get to look at it, and they have 3 things grayed out. Bonus cards, because it doesn't have one. That's its goal, essentially. And food on cards and tuck cards. It doesn't do any of that. So you're going to get points that the Automa isn't going to get. And I think that's fantastic, because... You never once feel like, well, what's the point? And in here, I beat it on normal from 93 to 67. So, essentially what is that, 13, 16 point spread? So that's really not that bad. And I specifically went for cards that let me get more bonus cards because I knew the Automa wasn't going to get to capitalize on those. So it's like, well, I'm not going to get as much eggs as they are because they don't have to pay for resources or anything like that, which you would also initially think that that's a pain. But this game is so streamlined and so free-flowing that it just taking birds, it was never really a problem. I was still able to play all the birds that I essentially wanted to. I still had to think a little bit harder because I was trying to strategize, which the Anima is never going to do. Hardly any solo variant is going to have the bot player strategize. It has its own, hey, this is what it's going to do in a specific order, and you play your game. But never, like, I think it's really, really smooth. Like, I love the fact that it's not, it also gets bonus cards. It also gets food. It also gets tuck cards. Like, it gets all the points that you can get, but free. Then I wouldn't like it. But the fact that you can go for, not ever, but you can go for bonus cards and it can't. You still compete against it with the end of round bonus cards, which are really cool because it basically has this scorecard where it's like, hey, for filled columns, whatever the end of round is, it has 1 point in round 4, plus the cubes that are on it, versus what you actually have. So I think that that's also a smart way of doing it. And you can just quickly look at them and be like, okay, so it has this much as a base value plus its cubes. I really don't have a problem with it placing the cubes on the goal, because it also has ways to take them off. So it's not just adding and stockpiling and you have no way of, dealing with it. You can easily look at it and be like, okay, I need eggs in forest. That is just how simple it is. Like, this game, once again, is so streamlined and so simple that you can plan ahead. Like, the next one, I was like, I'm not getting eggs in forest. There's no way. But I have birds already in the fields, so I can go for that one and try and beat it there. And you do the green side, so you can try and compete that way. And I'm very pleased. The more I keep talking about it, actually, the more I'm so happy with how this solo variant went. Because not once are you going to... Because you can jump into Wingspan anyway. And a lot of solo variants, at least some that I've played in the past, are like, okay, so this is how it's done. And I need to keep track of how I want to play the game, but I also have to keep track of how this Audible rules work. This one is just so simple and a lot of fun. Like, I never really felt like, okay, well, like I was missing something. I thoroughly enjoyed myself playing against this deck of cards, just as much as I would playing against other people. Now, one thing that I think is really neat is you have this Anima. It's just a deck of cards, and you shuffle it, and that's it. And it has, little rows, or, rounds 1 through 4. And whenever it's shuffled, depending on the round it is, that's the action it's going to do. So simple, but yet it's like, that just shows the variety of how the Anima will actually play, because you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You have 10, so 40 potential actions that they can do throughout a game. Well, not throughout a game, sorry. Well, I guess kind of, because it depends on the round. So, and it doesn't keep doing actions. Like, you play as if it's another player, so it's like, okay, well, I'm done with my actions. Since I always go first, it's going to get one more card, and this is going to flip it. And the thing is some people might... Some things about solo variants is you can't really predict what the Anima is going to do. And that's true. Like, you can't sit here and be like, okay, I know it's going to try and lay eggs. But in Wingspan anyway, you don't really affect other players. You kind of do with bird abilities. And you can occasionally screw someone else over a little bit. But one thing that's great about Wingspan in general is that if you screw someone, you kind of help them. And like, there's a card ability where it's like you take a resource from another player, but they get one from the die tray or the bird feeder. And it's like, okay, like, you could just be like, hey, like, I need a mouse. There's not one in there, so I'm going to take your mouse. And they can be like, all right, whatever. I have this many cards. All right, I'll take that fish that's in there. Like, this game is not cutthroat in any way. So being able to not predict the Anima, it's not going to hurt you. Like, the only thing that it could do is you could look at it and be like, okay, I really want that bird. Like, I need that one. And then it happens to take it. It's like, okay, well, you just got to plan for that. I'm really trying to think of some negatives about the Anima solo variant, and I really can't think of any, because it's simple, it's fun, it feels like it doesn't. Okay, I wouldn't say it feels like another player, but that's just kind of the nature of Wingspan anyway. That you're kind of playing a solo game with another person, so I guess it feels like a player in that case. And I mean, the game was still relatively close, 16 points, and that was mainly I will say that is actually mainly because the Outwitcher, which is the ability, was that there was never multiples of 3s or 4 in the slot, so it was never taken 2 of them. It was always taken just the 1, and I mean that could have definitely thrown a wrench in some things. I got lucky with being able to get my fish and all that, and I was able to capitalize off of my bonus cards. Now, if you think that the game is too easy, there are different difficulty levels. You have easy, medium, and hard, and that just kind of dictates how many points are the face down ones, which I also think is a neat mechanic. It's like, okay, if it does its bonus of 1, it takes it, puts a face down, or no, puts a face up. If it does just the take a card action, then it takes it and puts a face down, then it like wipes the board. So normal is they're worth 4 points, and then hard is they're worth 5 points. I really don't think it would have just given it 1 more point, so it would have been at 70 instead of 67. But there's also the Automobon card, which I think it's in here, but that's like another way to add variety to the game. So you do have some freedom with how difficult the automaton is. Like I said, I think it's great. The only kind of confusing part is a lot of abilities are like choose another player, and if it's a brown card, it just fails. Like you get to do pretty much whatever you want. But the teal one that I had to look up, where it was like steal a food from another person, and it's like, okay, well, I can't do that, but then or compare yourself to another player, and if this happens, and it was like how many cubes it has on the end of goal thing. So there are ways around it, and that's kind of the one thing you might have to remember. But for the most part, this is a very, very streamlined, simple, fun solo variant, and I enjoyed it very, very much. So, with that being said, I am going to give the solo variant, automaton, whatever it's called, of Wingspan a 9 out of 10. I very much liked it. It's not a 10 out of 10 because I think it fits Wingspan really, really well. And that sounds more of a negative than I mean it to be. And I only say that because Wingspan just doesn't have a whole lot of strategic depth to it. The European expansion added a little bit more, but it is a very almost gateway-ish kind of game, I would say. And the Automata doesn't add any more complexity. It's still a fabulous solo experience, and I know I had no negatives for it, but it was still pretty simple. But I think I enjoy that sometimes out of a solo variant. But I'm still going to give it a 9 out of 10. So let me know what you think of the Wingspan solo variant in the comments below. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you. Hey everyone, thanks so much for watching this, and if you like this video, then click the subscribe button below to enjoy any video that I put out. And right next to that subscribe button is a little bell. Click that so you get notified of whenever I actually upload these videos. If you want to support the channel, you can definitely visit my Patreon page. The link is in the description below. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you.